Hey friends, um, this isn't going to be as jovial as most of my videos are. Just basically, I woke up, went to sleep pretty late for me, and I'm really letting the death of Michael Brooks affect me. This just happened yesterday. I know many people who watch my videos have no idea who Michael Brooks is. He was a huge YouTube political commentator, and he passed away out of nowhere. He died very young. He was born in 1983. And I never knew him, but there was always a vibe about him anytime he was going over politics that he was a friend, and that if I probably met him, I could have gone up to him no problem. This is affecting me like um, Stan Lee's death did, except this really came out of nowhere. A lot of you, again, don't know who Michael Brooks is. He was a political commentator. He was working on the Majority Report with Sam Seder, and when it came to his political commentary, the man was a true humanitarian in the sense of he wasn't only looking at American politics, but he was very sympathetic to politics internationally. He was caught up to date with everything going on in Brazil, England, Israel, the Middle East. He was always on top of it with his international politics and being very sympathetic toward other humans in those countries. He was a socialist in the true Marxist sense, where um, it's not the private ownership that has priority, it's the workers. Workers own the means of production. There we go. And he was heavily influenced by Lula. If you don't know who Lula is, he ran in Brazil, and his opponent, I can't remember his name because he's trash. He's a piece of trash. Claimed that he was rigging the election and had him arrested, and is currently in prison, as far as I know. And Michael Brooks had amazing insights, and not to mention, he was hilarious, but he was brutal. In the sense of, if you were to describe him debating, it was like, and I was talking about this with my friend David, we were talking about various political commentators on the left. He was like the bar brawler. Like, he would come in swinging, and he would swing heavy. He was an amazing debater, and just an amazing person, from what I could tell. All the most credible sources have had the highest praise for him. And this is devastating, not just to the left, but I think we lost a great human. I mean, he truly cared about the people around him, and he was always taking steps ahead of the game. Like when Bernie dropped out of the election, instead of sitting there mourning, he licked his wounds, got up, and said, "All right, this is what we got to do from here in order to have more prosperity and equality for everyone around in the United States." His show was always super entertaining. The Michael Brooks Show. If you have a chance, look up his impressions. He had an amazing Obama, Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson. His impressions were amazing. Like, he was a funny dude. Genuinely funny dude. I was always entertained. Not at the beginning. I had problems watching him when he was on the Majority Report. I always felt his voice is like mine now, super monotone. And he came off as super arrogant, but when I gave him further chances down the line, his show is like impossible to not watch, especially if you love politics. But his impressions are hilarious. His jokes are spot on. And not to mention, his interview style was solid. He's interviewed Richard Wolff, who's a famous Marxist economist. He's interviewed so many people, whether they be on the Young Turks, Rebel HQ, Kyle Kalinske, David Packerman, and these people that he's interviewed, regardless of their political thoughts, he was always very objective toward them, and he gave praises when praises were meant to be given. You have the sense that everything that he would ever say was analytical, with purpose, and sincere. And this is a big loss to the left. He was huge in shifting the Overton window. But not only that, humanity, like, it's lost a great person. He believed in what Lula said of, they might destroy one rose, they might destroy a second rose, they might destroy a third rose, but they can't prevent the springtime. He was huge in believing in humanity, in the progression of humanity. And I think it's important for us to continue on that legacy. That's what Michael would want. He wouldn't want us to stop fighting. He'd want us to keep going. And to lose something so sincere, it kind of reminds me of the loss of my dad. Granted, I never knew Michael Brooks personally, but this has really, really affected me. So, in the meantime, my friends, keep fighting. Keep fighting for what's true, what's good, and what's best for all. Michael Brooks, may your light ever shine. Rest in power, my friend.